Well, at age 25, good fortune came my way. And many times it's difficult to explain good fortune. Why do unique things happen to you when they do? I don't know. Part of that is a mystery to me. However, my good fortune was meeting a man, a very unique and successful man. His name was Mr. Earl Schoaf. When I met him, I said to myself, I would give anything to be like him. I wonder what it would take. Well, to make a long story short, this very special gentleman took a liking to me, and a few months after I met him, he hired me, and I went to work for him. I spent the next 5 years working for him in several of his businesses, and then, unfortunately, he died. But I did get to spend 5 years with this remarkable man, and the best thing he gave me during that 5 years was not a job. The best thing he gave me was the benefit of his philosophy, the fundamentals of living successfully, how to be wealthy, how to be happy. And sure enough, his ideas worked for me. So I will always be grateful for meeting someone who made a difference in how my life worked out. I am sure if Mr. Schoaf were still alive, I would have called him one more time today and thanked him for sharing the ideas and inspiration that changed my life. For many years, I shared this philosophy for wealth and happiness with my business partners and met with equally exciting results. I am primarily a businessman, not a professional public speaker, but I have been intrigued with the challenge of trying to put into words the ideas that can make a difference in how a person's life works out. And now I have the chance to share these ideas with you. I don't claim to have all the answers on how to do well, but I do have some answers that have worked extremely well for me and thousands of others. Take these ideas and edit them all you wish. You certainly don't have to buy everything any one person says. But give me a chance. If something sounds good, try it. If it doesn't make sense, discard it. Remember, don't be a follower, be a student. The second key word for us to consider is wealth. Wealth is a word that brings about a wide variety of mental images, and that is part of my purpose in these cassettes, to provoke that wide variety of mental images, for that is where the dreams are, that is where the inspiration comes from, and that is where true incentive is born. The mystery and mixture of mental image, the stuff and the staff of life. Its right use, its constant use is the way to a life unique and a life abundant. Now, to one, wealth means having enough financial substance to be able to do whatever you wish to do with your life. To another, it may mean freedom from debt, freedom from the constant claim of obligation. To yet another, it means opportunity. And to many, wealth means $1 million. That's a unique word, millionaire. It rings of success, freedom, power, influence, pleasure, possibility, benevolence, and excitement. Not a bad mental image. Now we could talk of the wealth of experience, the wealth of friends, the wealth of love, the wealth of family, the wealth of culture. Wealth of many kinds. However, in this program, we are more specifically going to talk about wealth in the sense of financial freedom. Wealth that comes from the conversion of effort and enterprise into currency and equity. For each of us, the amount of money required to be wealthy will differ. But the dream for all of us, I'm sure, is the same. Freedom from financial pressure. More freedom of choice, freedom to enjoy, and the opportunity to create and to share. Wealth, the possession of great financial resources that improves the quality of your life and gives you added dignity and expanded lifestyle. So decide for yourself what wealth means to you. Latch on to your own mental image of wealth, and let's see if the ideas I'm about to bring to you will make sense, and perhaps provide you with the inspiration to put the plan into high action, so that as the days pass, you will discover a growing sense of freedom and dignity, self-worth, substance, and lifestyle.
All of us have kind of an identity for ourselves, a way of defining ourselves. And human beings don't usually stray from that. So if you consider yourself to be a conservative person or a shy person, I know the way you move to some extent. I know the facial expressions, the gestures, the way you use your body. And it's all consistent with the fact that human beings, our strongest drive is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. If your self-definition is, I'm a situation where I'm kind of, what was the word he used?
Shy.
Shy. Then you're gonna find a way to get to a place where you kind of cower back.
Right.
The fastest thing you could do to change your experience would be to create a new little thing, a simple thing like erase. The minute you go, I'm shy, you go erase. That's a BS story. BS meaning belief system. Now that's just a story. And if you tell yourself a story long enough, you start to believe it. And once you believe it, you act like it. When you calling yourself shy, you believe it. You go, Tony, I've always been shy. Up until this moment. Do something that's completely outside what you would normally do. Something, become somebody else. Decide who's the most playful, passionate, outrageous, fun person you know, and behave like them for 2 or 3 days. Just push yourself to behave like that. And here's what's happened. It'll be shocking, you'll be weird, it'll be different, you'll feel uncomfortable, but after a while, you'll get reinforced. It's like if you get a nice haircut, you make a change in the way you look, people will compliment you. You'll get some compliments, and those compliments will make you want to use those other parts of yourself.
My friends, please don't misunderstand me. I don't stand up here and say, I'm an entrepreneur, you're not. I say that what this phenomenon has taught me, where I can go to the most amazing places on earth and many people know who I am, is that my timing for what I loved worked out. I take no pride in that. I understand that it's circumstantial. But I also know that this is why I'm so desperate for you to stick to your guns around your passion. Maybe you actually love playing video games more than starting an app company. When I was growing up, playing video games was a waste of time. Today, I think we can all agree, a professional esports superstar for the next 50 years, probably behind proper football and basketball, is going to be the biggest athlete in our world. This is nothing you could see 7 or 10 years ago. You owe it to yourself to make sure that you're building a company around what you love, not because cryptocurrency is the current fad. When you chase money, you lose, always and forever, even when you achieve the money. This is how humans are wired.
42 years.
And what got you started?
The Beatles. When the Beatles started meditating, and they drew attention to it, and it was a curiosity, and I thought I would try it, and then it's changed my life. It's the biggest influence in whatever success I've had in life.
So can you remember what it was like in the first few weeks or first few months?
Yeah, I remember wrestling around with it. I remember that, you go into the mantra. I went into the mantra, and the thoughts would come back, and it would be that back and forth. And then as it got better and better, and I got deeper into it, the thoughts would become more valuable, more tantalizing. And it was almost, more of a temptation to think about those particular thoughts because I didn't want to lose those ideas. And then I knew that I had to push those away. And it was almost difficult. And then after a while, I remember then disappearing into it. And that was something. The first benefits were that ability to have the quietness, the tranquility, the ability to get energy from it rather than sleep. It would provide me more energy than sleeping. Those kinds of benefits. But then it went on to develop an ongoing equanimity, that centeredness, that ability to go above myself and my circumstances and to look down at them from a higher level with a clarity and an objectivity. And then it started to bring out my subconscious and my creativity, because subsequently I've studied neuroscience. I've been very interested in that. And I've learned that there's part of our brain in the neocortex, which is where imagination exists, which is where creativity exists. And it opened me to that. I experienced it. I didn't understand what was happening at the time, but it provided those things as time went on.
Large, uninterrupted blocks of time. You have to schedule, if you are a creator,
blocks of time that are at least 2 to 4 hours or more in length. No Frankenstein monster of 20-minute breaks and 10-minute breaks combined into 3 hours will have the value of an uninterrupted block of 3 hours if you are trying to make high-level decisions, focus on time-consuming, high-priority projects, push something to a next milestone as a maker-creator. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. And if you're like, I don't have time, I can't sleep, I need to cut back on sleep, I need to do this, I need to do that. If you don't have time, you don't have priorities. That's it.
With the universe as a whole now, we've discovered that it's not only expanding, but the rate of expansion of the universe is accelerating. And that imposes a fundamental finiteness on our universe. We're seeing all that we could ever see now. And things are going off our cosmic horizon, and there are objects that are disappearing in the sense that we, well, I'll put it this way.
We'll never catch up with them because the speed of light has its limitation, and those things are starting to, they're expanding too fast, yeah.
Yeah, they actually, because space is expanding, galaxies that are very, very far away from us are literally moving away from us faster than the speed of light. We might see their light today, but so we can see them. In fact, 97% of the galaxies that we can see, we can never get to, even if we could go at the speed of light.
Right.
So
because of the rate of expansion. Yeah.
It's this big expansion, and that means that there's a fundamental finiteness to our universe, which means that in principle, quantum mechanics is telling us that we can't measure there are no what they call local observables in space-time. There's nothing inside space-time that you can measure precisely, which means that space-time itself is just an approximate concept, and that's the mind-blowing thing for physicists, right? And they're very explicit. Nima is very explicit about it. He says, physics has been about what happens in space and time. So if space-time is not fundamental, it's not really clear what physics is about.
So for the next 90 days, your first 90 minutes at work, make it focused on your single most important project. I'll repeat that again. For the next 90 days, the first 90 minutes of your workday, focus monomaniacally on your single most valuable project. I call it your game-changing move. So it might be creating a new piece of code that will revolutionize the marketplace. It might be a new product that when you launch it will fill a need within your industry that no peer is currently providing. I don't know what your game-changing move is, but this is your poetry. This is your magnum opus for the next 90 days. So what most people do is, people who are playing at victimhood, people who are in the 95%, people who are making excuses about ordinary results in their life, a lot of them are not doing the things that would give them legendary results. And what they do is they get to the office, and rather than using prime time for activities, they use their best hours watching dancing cats on whatever it is, whatever the video platform is. They spend their best hours surfing the internet looking at blogs. They spend their best hours playing with notifications, reading notifications, chatting with friends who are not really their friends, but really they're just bored, so they're distracting themselves, which is just a form of medication because potential unexpressed turns to pain, and they're in a lot of pain, and it's subconscious, and they haven't done the work to know it. So really, they've created these drugs of choice, like too much email, too much web surfing, too much chit-chatting, too much looking at funny looking videos that make them laugh in the moment, that make them feel happy and give them a short burst of dopamine and maybe a little bit of serotonin, which is the pleasure neurotransmitter, and that's how they get through their day. And all I'm saying is there is so much distraction available to you out there that if you are not acutely careful, it will dominate your days. What I'm really trying to say is this: a ritual for you to run and dial in and hardwire to the point of automaticity, that's the word the researchers use when a habit becomes your new normal, over 66 days, is the 90-91 rule. And to give it to you again so you really remember it, For the next 90 days, your first 90 minutes, create a tight bubble of total focus so that no one can distract you. Turn off your devices, put them in a little plastic bag, put some reminders on your door, maybe some post-it notes that this is my tight bubble of total focus for the next 90 minutes. Tell your team, tell your loved ones, maybe put a do not disturb sign on your door. They'll laugh, and explain it to them that for the next 90 days, I will spend 90 minutes away from distraction, away from technology, away from interruptions, focusing on my magnum opus, focusing on the genius project that I want to bring into the world, because I will never mail it in. I will always bring it on, and I'm going to do this for the next 90 minutes, and I'm going to optimize it and iterate it every day, and I'm going to bring my full bandwidth, because what makes a genius, they all have one trait in common: they were able to spend extended periods of time in isolation, focused monomaniacally on their most valuable project.
I'm saying that there are other consciousnesses out there. I'm talking with you. I believe that you're not just a figment of my imagination.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me.
That's right, and I'm not a figment of your imagination, and that puts certain responsibilities on me. Even though what I perceive as just an icon of Zubin, I need to be very, very careful how I treat that icon, because in interacting with that icon, I could literally cause pain to the consciousness of Zubin, and you could cause pain to me. So our interface gives us a genuine portal to other consciousnesses, all human consciousnesses. My cats are my icons, but I believe that my cat icons are portals to real conscious creatures that, again, I don't want to hurt. And a mouse, ants, and so forth, it goes all. The interface, I claim, is all to other consciousnesses, but the interface is like a visualization tool. And of course, a visualization tool is there to sort of hide the complexity and dumb things down and so forth, because we'd be overwhelmed by all the consciousnesses out there. And so that's what space-time is. It's a visualization tool.